Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a little bit of a different travel video. This video is about Panacea, Florida vacation we took. Now I do want to say that the point of this video is to understand that you don't have to go to the tourist traps in Florida. There is amazing places you can go. Sleepy little fishing places, little towns where their main economy may be either light tourism, fishing, or even just basic import stuff. So Panacea is on the Gulf side, so which means you're going to have slightly warmer waters, smaller waves, generally calmer seas. Now we did go what is considered the off season, which was in September. This was a 5-day, 4-night, and I think that you'll see the value as we lay this out for you. We will talk about the overall cost at the end of the video. We will not be putting in the travel part because we're in Ohio going to Florida. You may be somewhere else. But we will talk about the lodging, the cost of food, and all that stuff. And that's where you may get into these sleepy little towns. The cost is a lot lower than you would think, and there's lots of value locally. So, honey, we probably should start off by talking about the lodging because this was very different, and it's going to be something that's going to be different for them.
So, the first thing you need to know is that we did a private owner rental. We paid $400 for 5 days and 4 nights. But while we were down there, we always like to investigate the options. And there was tons of Airbnbs. There was hotels. There was lots of other options for accommodations.
Campers. There's actually houseboats. They had lots of options for lodging, and all of them were pretty close to the price range we paid. This was just a person we knew that owned a house down there that rented out privately. So that's why we can't post up any info about the location. But we do want to go over the accommodations because they were flawless.
They were. So this was a 3-bedroom house. Each room was fully furnished with extremely comfortable beds.
Yes, you just said you were going to try and find out what the mattress brand was because we did sleep good there.
Extra blankets,
Yes.
Extra sheets. Definitely furnished very nicely. It also had 2 recently refurbished bathrooms.
Yep.
With all modern fixtures in them.
And it was actually very, very modern. Like the dual flush toilets, everything was done out in pretty much white, so it was very clean. I really like that part of walking into a place when they have a very modern bathroom and you feel like everything is clean and sanitized and looks good.
The kitchen. Let's talk about the kitchen. The kitchen was very modern. It absolutely had anything you could possibly need because we do a lot of our cooking at the Airbnbs or the houses that we stay at. And let me tell you, they had everything in there that you could possibly want, from bowls to cups to coffee maker.
Yeah, air fryer, and even this was the first time I ever have used a fridge with a bottom drawer, and that was an experience. That thing was freaking huge. I couldn't get over how big the fridge was, and I'm like, holy cow.
Very nice fridge.
Yeah.
Now, let's go on to the living area, because I was very impressed with the living area, because we've stayed in some Airbnbs and stuff that didn't have quite enough sitting space whenever we were in there. This one had 2 very large, comfortable couches. That was very nice.
And then they had the awesome TV setup, which was right above an electric fireplace, which we turned the lights on of the electric fireplace because you don't want to turn the heat on, obviously. But the ambiance between the two late at night, it was so nice to sit there. You might even say it was romantic, and we would make up like frou-frou coffees and sit there by it, and it was an awesome experience. The whole setup of the actual living room was like almost perfect. It was comfortable. It was not so fancy that you couldn't feel like you could sit down on it. You didn't feel like you had to have it covered up under you.
Yep.
But it was still about the perfect setup, and if you had a large group, there'd be plenty of sitting area.
I feel like Overall, though, this house was very nice because it was clutter-free.
Yes, it didn't have any extras that were not necessary. It wasn't like they were trying to jam as much in there. And I think that's because it was a private owner rental. So that's their house too. So moving on, we need to talk about beaches and activities, because what's the point of going somewhere if you don't have anything to do? I mean, it's fine and great to go get a cabin if you just want to stay in the cabin, but we want to go out and explore. It's Florida. And I will say the temperatures were just about perfect in September. So if you get the opportunity, that's about when we feel the temperatures are perfect. So the first place we went to check out was, and I'm going to butcher this name, Wakula Springs State Park. Now, it's a $6 entrance fee for the whole car, so it's not that expensive, and it is worth it. And when you go in there, you'll see where the money goes. So the first thing we did was we did some hiking. Now, these areas were way different than what we're used to. The trails had pines and cypresses. They're pretty easy. I would say they're almost kid-friendly, but we're used to lots of hardwood hiking, and down there it's a lot of pines and cypress knees and stuff like that. So it was definitely a change up, but actually really nice. And then their beach in the state park has clear water. I mean, actual clear water. And the reason that is because it has a spring under it. Now, the beach, when you go into it, it's kind of like on a rounded edge, and it has two floating docks. So you can go out and sunbathe on them, jump off of them, swim out to them and back. They're pretty fun. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, because it's as big as a freaking elephant, and that is the observation and diving deck. It is 22 feet up, guys. And you want to talk about scary? When you look down, all you see is like the basin, and then you see a hole. And when I say a hole, I mean a giant black hole. And that is the mouth of the spring underwater that feeds up in there. They actually do scuba diving down in there. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to throw my wife under the bus, because she told me to jump off, so I jumped off. And my wife was scared and wouldn't go.
It was a long ways down.
And an amazing young 12-year-old girl said, "I'll hold your hand if you're really going to do it." And I kid you not, they held hands and jumped off of it and jumped in.
She's like, "But you can't back out."
No. So, special thanks to her for getting my wife to do it. Now, that said, it is scary when you do it, and that will be apparent when I explain a little more about this place, because there's actually other things to do there other than the swimming. But I do have to mention right off the bat, and this is the part that will mess with some people's brains, the water was actually colder than the other places when we went down there. And the reason is that spring keeps that water 70 degrees year round in the swimming area. All right, so it actually was a little chilly that day compared to the other beaches that were probably going at almost 80 degrees, the water was.
But it was very refreshing.
It was extremely refreshing, and as long as you were in the water and moving around, it was fine. But when you're done swimming, or before you're going swimming, you need to make a reservation for the boat tour. Now, if you don't do this when you're there, you wasted your time. You should have done this. They are $8 per person. And when you go there and get on it, it looks like a giant pontoon boat. Now, they do have two boats. One's broke down right now, and it's got a clear bottom. The other one is a standard open style giant pontoon. They're going to give you tons of information. They're going to tell you all about the place. But the moment you turn to the right, away from the swimming area at that end, everything changes. And you're going to be really insecure probably about swimming there until you understand how it all works and the dynamic of the area, because you will see so much wildlife. You will see birds.
So much wildlife.
Of every color. There will be every color. There'll be white ones. There'll be gray ones. There'll be black ones. I'm talking cranes and different things.
And my favorite, you get to see manatees.
Like, literally, you get to see manatees swimming under the boat and around the boat and stuff. The water is clear. You can see them.
That water being clear, you will get the best view of them that you have ever probably seen in your life.
Yeah, this isn't some zoo manatees. These are wild. And you will also see gators. And I mean so many gators.
Lots of gators.
Lots and lots and lots of gators.
There will be big ones. There will be little ones. There'll be in between ones. They'll be in the water. They'll be on the sides.
They'll be everywhere. And they will be going after things too when you're driving by in the boat. And then you will see, of course, turtles, fish. We saw some gar, I think.
We did. We seen those in the swimming area.
Yeah. So the thing about it is they don't like to go down to the spring because it's too cold. The farther they get away from the spring, the warmer it is. So all the gators and stuff don't come down to the swimming area, and they actually don't like people. So I know a lot of movies will portray it differently, but they don't like people.
So speaking of movies,
well, we have to really go all the way down the line on this because this would have never been found out had we not taken the boat tour and been in the boat shop there. So why don't you tell them the history of the bigger things that happened movie-wise there?
So one of the biggest movies that was filmed there was Creature from the Black Lagoon. And only older people will remember this movie, but it was an awesome movie. They filmed it there because that is the clearest water that they could find to be able to film underwater at that time. But they also did other films such as Tarzan, and there was a couple other posters in there, but I didn't remember the names of those.
Yeah, and they have also pulled out a lot of mammoth
bones
out of there too. But the Tarzan was one of the older films. I don't know exactly which one, but I just thought there's so much history there. There is a lodge there you can stay at, and you will meet a very diversified crowd in there. Definitely an awesome place. A few dollars, and the entertainment value is amazing. So, where was the next place we went, honey?
So the next place we went was St. George Island State Park. And this is about 45 minutes away, I would say.
Yeah, from where we were.
But it's very nice drive there because as we were driving down through there, we had the ocean pretty much to our left-hand side almost the whole time. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about this place is it has multiple beach entrances. And when I say multiple, we probably passed 4 or 5 before we even stopped at the beach we decided to go to.
Yeah, and we barely even proceeded back in there. There is a boat docking area, 3 of those on the left-hand side, and all of your swimming were on the right-hand side, and it's just like a peninsula that goes out, and it is... They took their time because you want to get away from people, you just drive to the next one. Drive to the next one.
The facilities there were extra clean, very nice bathrooms, trash cans all around, definitely a nice setup and clean. Now the water was semi-clear. It wasn't as clear obviously as the spring, but it was definitely nice water. You could, see the ground. You could see shells in the water and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The waves were smaller waves for what we are compared to. Yeah. Because we normally go on the East Coast, but the waves were very nice and ripply and comfortable. Yeah,
the Gulf definitely has a much calmer side to the seashore, and it definitely shows when you're out there, even when the weather starts to take a turn.
And the sand, it had white sand, very soft sand beaches.
Not the kind you sink in, but the kind you can actually walk on. And then there is a lot of shells, as I remember it, down through there.
Yes, we found quite a few shells. I think we brought a whole bag back. But another nice thing about it, it's not overly crowded because they have so many beach entrances. It was not overcrowded at any of them. Some of them only had one car parked at them.
Yeah, and when we were there, I think like 10 minutes into being there, everybody that was up the peninsula from us to the left from where we were sitting left. So no one was there the entire rest of the time we were there. Like nobody was to our left. It was crazy. I mean, as far as the eye could see, we took a walk and we still couldn't find people. So
very nice beach.
Very nice beach. Now let's talk about if you want to not pay to get into a beach. And that would be going to a public beach like Alligator Point. Now, I do want to say that if you go to Alligator Point from where we were, you had to do a little bit of driving. But you pass over the bridge, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But anyways, the parking is across the street, and it's a walk-in beach. So you'll want to bring something if you're bringing a bunch of equipment and stuff. It kind of reminds me of the North Carolina beaches as you go down there by Cure Beach. We have to walk into everything.
Yeah.
But just to get it out of the way, when you walk in, the sand is the white sand, but you sink. So it is slow going walking in.
It's pretty deep sand from what I remember, that you just kind of sink into it and it's going to take you a minute to walk out there.
So it's not like the packed kind of sand like at St. George Island. It's a little bit more to walk in on, but that makes it nice in the water, and we'll explain why. But I just wanted to get that out there so you understand what you're getting into. Now, the water is clearer than St. George Island, but it is still what I would consider semi-clear. You can see things in the water, but it's more like a shadow. But you can see things in the water really well there. You probably won't be able to step on anything until you get out in deep water, if there is anything. And we did see a lot of stuff in there. And we should talk about that, honey. So why don't you tell them what we saw?
So as we were getting in the water,
Yep.
Tony looked down and he seen a small stingray, probably about that big, I would guess.
Yeah.
Because I just caught a little bit of it, but
Well, you saw the tail, which is instantly how you can identify them, But the smaller ones like the more shallow water. And the thing about that place is you have shallows for like the first 6 foot out, unlike other beaches we went to where it was very shallow for a long distance out in the water. This one does more of a 6 to 8 foot, and then it starts to drop off, and you can get neck deep by being, 30 foot from the edge. So if you want deep water swimming, this is another place to go too. But we also saw other stuff there, honey.
we saw one jellyfish,
Yep.
but it was the smaller kind.
Yeah, and it didn't bother us. And it
didn't bother us. It
didn't
just
wanna-
went about its way.
And that was the only one
no
we saw
problem.
when we were out there for hours.
Yeah.
So, and we also saw a lot of, what are those digger crabs or whatever they're called? The little ones.
Oh, yeah,
They kept peeking out.
The crabs that are on the actual beach, ghost crabs.
Ghost crabs, yep.
But we also seen the guys fishing.
Oh, yeah. We had a guy that was, maybe 400, 500 feet from us, and they were fishing, and he was pulling in giant fish.
So
And
if you buy the fishing permit, that's probably a good place to go.
Yeah, and they're pretty cost effective down there. They're not terrible. But overall, I think for a public beach, that place is awesome. As we just said, you're going to deal with people fishing. It is a public beach. You're going to have people out there fishing. You're going to have people out there on, wakeboards and different things. But once again, the waves are not terrible. They were slightly more aggressive because of where it's at, but it is nothing compared to any East Coast beach. So you will actually be able to take your young kids out and have a really good time.
And you'll be able to do the boogie board, but you won't be able to surf.
No, you ain't no surfing there.
No
ain't no.
surfing on these.
All right, so now we should get on to the thing that makes my tummy happy.
He's always about the food.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk food. So on our way down, we've researched and we found that there is a Walmart in Crawfordsville, which is about 13 to 15 miles away. And we actually passed through it on our way down there.
Yep.
So we stopped there and got everything to stock the fridge that we were going to need over the next 4 or 5 days.
And we'll fully explain more why you need to do that later in the video, so keep with us here.
All right, so the restaurants.
Yep.
This is what he really wants to talk about, not the Walmart.
That's true.
First restaurant we went to was Posey Seafood and Oyster Bar. Now, this is a real seafood joint.
No.
And the reason I say that is because people are out back rigging their gear to go catch the things that they sell in that restaurant.
They're literally out there every day behind the shop, and they come in they call a trailer out to where they're fishing so they can put the stuff into coolers, but they're out there with crab pots fixing them. They're out there with the turtle things, the lines. They're out there rehooking and baiting stuff, and I'm like, okay. So it's one thing to say, you're fresh, local, because you're buying from the other guys that fish. It's another thing to you are the fisherman. You are the person out there catching them. So to understand that should understand how fresh we're talking
and how
here.
good that food is. So, this place just looks like just a little kind of shack place whenever you first get there. It's not very big, but once you walk in, you can tell what a nice family small restaurant it is. It had very nice decor.
Yep.
It had a little bar in it.
Yeah, you could belly up to a bar, get on a table, and they even had a back room if you wanted to be away from people a little bit. It is a place that's kind of like it's grown. So it's addition after addition after addition. So it is a small town, kind of location that is not super fancy, but you're going to get what you want, which is the killer food. And what did we have there, honey?
We had the blackened seafood platter, and it was die for.
It was absolutely amazing. It was worth every penny. Obviously, seafood is not cheap anywhere you go, but this was pretty reasonable. And I will say that I think that it was worth every penny because nothing was left on our plates.
Nothing.
Nothing. It was delicious, and I would highly suggest you guys go check it out if you're down in the area because this wait staff is also awesome. They were very on top of everything.
And it very quickly became one of our top seafood favorites.
Yeah, and the other people, like the locals that are in there, because fishermen go in there and eat too, they'll sit there and chit chat with you all day. You can ask them anything you want to know about the area, and they will have the answer for you.
So the next restaurant we went to was Hammerknocker's Barbecue.
Yep.
This is a barbecue restaurant and a bar. When you walk in, it's very nice in there, very clean, very cozy feeling, I would say.
Yeah, they got the lights pulled down a little bit to give it that darker feel, and they're not going for the romantic. They're going for that dark barbecue kind of feel, and they do a very good job. But once again, you want to know you're having good barbecue, what do you see out back, honey?
As we pulled in the parking lot, we seen their smokehouse out back, and it was just a rolling.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, the smells in that parking lot was like you knew you were going to get something good to eat.
Yes, yep. And we went in there, and I was basically blown away by their in-house sauces. They had 4 in-house sauces. So it's not like we're going to put out barbecue from somebody else. These are their own manufactured sauce line.
How many of those did you try?
All of them.
We both tried all 4 of them.
All of them.
So Tony got the smoked meat platter.
Mm-hmm.
So he had plenty of meat on his plate to be able to try all of his sauces
and that's
out.
what I did. I poured different sauce on each kind of meat. That's exactly how I did it.
He just took his time.
Yep.
And I had the pulled pork dinner, and that pulled pork was amazing. It was so mouth-watering.
And they had a vinegar-based coleslaw?
Yes, that's what you had was the vinegar-based coleslaw.
That was good.
And then all of their sides and everything you could tell was just made homemade. Everything was made right there in the restaurant. There was no buying it from a food service or anything like that. Everything in this place had to be homemade.
Yeah, nobody cuts the coleslaw like that. That's somebody's got a machine that makes it so.
And if you happen to ever go in there, go to the board and get a pin and put where you're from, because they got a world map in there and they have tons of push pins to show where everyone that has visited has came from. And they had people from
Greenland, Iceland,
Africa, all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, that literally covers the world. You really have to check that out.
We didn't get out of our pin because Ohio was pretty covered.
Yeah, there's no more room for pins on Ohio, but moving on from that, next one is probably my favorite because I'm a coffee addict.
Such an addict. You knew we had to find a coffee shop to go to because of Tony.
Yep.
So we did find Wild Ox Coffee Company, and that was a bit of a walk away,
Yeah,
but it would be a quick drive.
yeah, we chose to walk it because we knew we were going to get some frou-frou coffee and some regular coffees, but I knew there was going to be calories involved, so we walked it, and it was a walk.
It was a walk, but it was well worth it. As you walk in this place, it's very nice, very clean, friendly staff. It has very nice sitting areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat there one morning and just drank our coffee before we went out and finished our walk.
Yep.
And we had 4 different coffees there.
Yep.
We had the Honey Badger. We had Southern Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the Forgotten Coast.
Yep.
And Mocha Nut.
Mocha Nut was amazing.
He stole my Mocha Nut
I
because
did.
he got the Honey Badger.
It was too much honey. She loves honey. I'm not as much of about a honey.
So my favorite, I think, was the Forgotten Coast.
Yes, that was really good. But all their stuff's good, and they do have substitutions. They also have, like, not a lot, but they have a little picking menu is what I call it, which is just stuff that you might snack on. You know what I mean? But the staff, that is the key to that place. That place doesn't need to be giant and amazing because they have the staff that will do anything you need done. They always greet you with a smile. They want to talk to you. They want to be a part of your day. And you can see the locals coming in that say they come there every day. I don't know how you can afford to spend $10 on coffee every day, but that lady did. And
they knew her order.
Yeah, they knew her when she walked in, and she made one little alteration, and they got it done, and they were just chatting about each other's days. So clearly this place has built a community around them, and I can see why, because it was awesome. And if you're a coffee addict like me and you don't go there, you will regret it, because I'm telling you, you're missing out.
All right, so we've talked about all the fun we've had, but let's talk about what did it cost us.
Okay.
So for us, for the food, that includes Walmart, both restaurants, and all the coffees that we drink. We estimate that to be approximately $250.
I'm a big boy. I eat a lot.
The lodging was $400, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had gas of $150, which that's going to vary for everyone.
Yeah.
And then our entertainment, we put that as $28, and that was the entrances to the state parks and the riverboat tour.
Yeah.
So that came to a total of $828 for this vacation.
Yeah. Now, the gas is going to be variable based upon where if you live in Florida and you go over here to stay, it's going to cost you nothing. So, but 2 people, 5-day, 4-night for $828, including the cost to travel, I think is pretty cheap. Now, we do need to talk about some need to know things. So, honey, why don't you run them through the need to know things?
So, some of the things you need to know is there is tons of city parks around there. There's nature reserves, there's fishing, there's playgrounds for the kids, you're going to see wildlife, there's also walking paths and bike trails, so lots to do.
You don't have to do all the paid stuff or go to state parks because you can't go very far without seeing some kind of nature preserve, nature reserve, or a wildlife area or a city park. So there's so much to do, and I feel like that these are all overlooked at all of these little sleepy towns across Florida.
I feel like especially this county of Florida has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing some people will get upset about,
And
it
that's
doesn't
why
upset us.
This is why we put this on the need to know, because you need to know this, because most people are not okay with this.
There is no fast food restaurants in this town.
No, not
None.
none.
0.
I mean, you can get stuff made pretty fast, and then they also have like deli stuff in some of the gas stations, but no McDonald's, no Wendy's.
If you want that, you're going to have to travel to Crawfordsville.
Or somewhere else.
Or somewhere else.
I didn't see any fast food the entire time we were there, and we were all over the place. Then the other part is...
There is no large stores. So there is no grocery store in the town or anything like that. The only thing they have is a dollar store and gas stations.
Now,
Basically,
the gas stations are bigger. They have stuff
the
in
one
them.
gas station had quite a bit in it. Like it had a bait shop in it, and it had some, some souvenir type things of that nature.
But you can get at any gas station, or the Dollar General is the main store in town. You can get anything you would need day to day. But I got a funny story to tell, and she's not happy I'm telling it. So my wife had these pretty little shoes that she was going to wear around, and she broke them. Like, broke them the day before. And we were going on another trip after this, so we had to fix that. So we drove to every store in town, and you want to know what happens? They don't sell shoes. They sell flip-flops. They sell Crocs. They don't sell shoes. Nowhere.
I needed some sort of a sandal or something that was a little bit more than flip-flops to wear.
And the people looked at us like we were nuts when we said, "Who sells shoes?" They said, "Go to Crawfordsville. There's a Walmart there."
Walmart in Crawfordsville is the only place.
So I'm like, "You guys don't wear shoes down here? Nobody wears shoes?" And it's the weirdest thing ever, but it's true. And I think that Amazon has a big grab on that area or something, because there's no place to buy any shoes.
So make sure your sandals are good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of, like, when I say that you're in a sleepy little town, that's what I mean. You're not going to have these giant stores, or you're not going to be able to run out in the middle of the night on a Taco Bell run. So I want to make sure people know that.
So another thing that you need to know is there's not a lot of nightlife in there. Now, we seen the bars at the restaurants, but I didn't see any actual bars.
No, there's no clubs. There's no... I mean, you might be able to go find a local tavern. Maybe on a Friday night somebody's got some music playing, but...
I mean, it definitely is a little lazy fishing town.
I mean, you can time it right and catch festivals, because they do have festivals all over the place.
But...
Here we go.
If you want the bar fill, all I'm saying is if you hit it at the right time, the local liquor store.
Yes, we went to go to liquor store, and I'm like, why are all these cars here? The parking lot was completely packed. It was like 5 o'clock on a Thursday or something, or a Wednesday. It was crazy. I was like, why are all these people here? Is this a bar? There's music going. I'm like, is this a bar? It says liquor store. And she's like, no, it's a liquor store. So my wife walks in, I walk in, and there is people everywhere.
Like, it is packed.
Like, standing room only, and they're like munching on stuff. They got open containers in their hand. I'm like, what's going on here? So we got what we wanted, and we walked up, and as we're walking up, you see this giant spread of food. And I'm like, what is going on here? And tell them what the lady told you.
So I told her, I said, I wasn't sure if this was a liquor store or if it was a bar. And she said, well, tonight it's both.
So they do like a happy hour thing. I think it's to draw in, the locals, and they do a spread where you can eat. And if you buy, loose beers, you can drink them as long as you don't go anywhere with them. And then obviously I'm sure that they are doing its drum up business.
It honestly was a really neat concept, and everyone was as friendly as could be and stepped out of our way while we, got our...
Well, they were all having a good time. They thought it was hilarious because this one girl was falling into Missy, and they were just having a good time. Everybody was having a really good time. Not a lot of people were feeling bad. A lot of people were feeling good in there. But it was a different experience, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And had we not been walking, I probably would have stayed a little longer and hung out and ate. But we were walking and it was hot. So I was ready to go back to the house. But with that said, I think this shows you the value of not always going to the tourist traps. I think you should get on Airbnb or check out the hotels in these smaller areas and create adventures like this, because this was all new to us. You know what it was like standing there looking off that 22-foot. And we did the boat tour first, just to be clear. So I was jumping in what I knew to be alligator-infested water, even though I knew they wouldn't come down there in the cold. But I jumped off that thing, and that's a long drop, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then my wife did it.
And you hit the cold water.
You bracing. That's what I call it. It's bracing because you're like, oh, wow. But it was just an adventure. And then we got to have an amazing conversation with a couple from Ireland who was traveling all around the U.S. I mean, these adventures are unbeatable because you're not going to get this at some tourist spot. We do love our cruises. We do love going to our resorts. We do love going to our touristy beaches. I'm not saying we don't. But I also like these sleepy adventures. It makes everything feel brand new and different. And I think that you would like it too. And you know what else I think you would like? I think you would like to go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos because there's way more to come. If you haven't already, check out our other channel, The Frugal Homestead, and also check out our Friday content, which is our financial side, which is how we pay to live this lifestyle. Now, with that said, we will see you in the next one. Now, what's our next trip?
I don't know.